I could do not everything I wanted, and he just told me what I wanted done, and he didn't tell me how to do it or nothing. I mean, and Kelly, he was trying to run and I couldn't stand it. I wasn't used to it. And then when I went to work for uh, Michener, had just one cat. Well, they had two cats. Ray Hahn got one cat, and I talked to Ray Hahn and to come to work to them, and he was a really good cat skinner. He run a D7 all over Europe during World War II. Um, uh, when they go into some of these towns, especially in France and different places, they had little narrow streets and they couldn't get their tanks down through there or something, and then they'd find a place they needed to go through, and he'd make them a hole so they could take their cat their in there. And
wow.
And he run along, build roads and stuff for military.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, he was running. He was, well, we hunted with him for a long time. I think, didn't you? I don't think you, Bill Brill and them guys.
No. That was a few years before me, I think.
Yeah, before.
Yeah, but not too many years.
Yeah,
before me.
Not too many
Early
years.
90s.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, lots of times, if we had a area, big area to hunt, they'd come over and camp with us too. And he had two mules, or little burros, I might say.
I see.
Lots of times Bill and Mitch could take them two burros and go out, and if they skinned out an elk or something, and there's some stuff there, they could go up and pack the hide in and with the mules and do it. And they had a lot of fun with them mules. And they Poncho and what the heck was the other one's name? Anyhow, I got some pictures in here of them there. They had a good time with those mules.
What was that story that Bill Brill used to tell about when he was a gunner in the service? They doing target practice with a plane that was towing a target.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was. They was in the Navy. He was in the Navy, and he was on a gunner on an oil tanker. And they'd pull these planes by here with a thing behind it, target, and they were supposed to shoot the target, hit the target. And Bill Brill was excellent with that gun, that big
50,
cannon.
50 caliber? Or
No, it was a big gun. Wasn't and they had a crew of 3 or 4 guys running, and he clipped the cable that was pulling that thing there, and it was quite a ways behind the plane, and he clipped that, and all them pairs of the planes would get all excited and everything, and the guy done it, they'd come and get his captain to call him in, and he'd have to chew him out, for clipping the thing. But the crew was always, cut the line, Bill, cut the line. And he did it.
So he cut the cable off.
The cable right in front of the, well, so maybe 10 feet ahead of it or something, but he could, and anyhow, the old captain would get him in there and just chew him out, he'd have to record the chewing out that he did, the guy. And then afterwards, they sent him out and got him to go, and he said, God, I'm glad you're on my ship.
Need that accuracy when it matters.
Yeah, he liked it, but then he never endangered the plane pulling it. It was his
yeah.
Wow.
And then we were hunting. We hunted a lot. And one time we were going. Once I had my Jeep, and Bill and I and Ray Hahn and somebody else was with us in the Jeep. And we come up there, and 2 guys that worked for Bill Hale was hunting up there, and the one area we logged at going up Goble Creek, And Bill and I messed up here. Bill and Ray Hahn had M1 Grands, and they were the ones they used for not regular, it was specialty stuff. There was extra. The guns were perfect. They had when they put them together, and the parts in these guns was every part was absolutely perfect. And their Bill Brill and Ray Hahn's theory was, if you got a shot, you had a shot for two, because you could, and they were all, and it was pow 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 pow, and shoot. They're just
The semi-automatic.
yeah, so it was automatics, yeah, and every time you heard them, you heard pop out. Was Bill O'Reilly shooting at an elk or something, Or,
Time enough for one, time enough for two. Was
yeah,
that?
yeah. If you got one, you got two. Pop out. And I had a chance to get one of them, and like a dang fool, I didn't take it, and they weren't that expensive either, and. Anyhow, I was sorry for it, but the gun I got was it never had a shell in it. It was in the military, and it was when the boys were out learning, the stock was all nicked up on it and stuff like that, but the gun was perfect. But they'd been using
Drilling with it? Or
yeah,
something?
they was learning to packing the rifles and stuff.
Yeah.
And I took the stock was all bit on. I got it. That's over there in Longview. Was it Meyer? Not Meyer. I can't even remember the name of the store there. It used to be Long Bell store years ago, but they had a whole bunch of them in there.
Bob Surplus?
What? No, it wasn't Bob Surplus. No, it's down on the main street. And it's they had all kinds of stuff there, and they even had groceries in there too. And I think there was a big store there, drugstore on the corner, and then their building was in there, and took up half a block. And anyhow, I went in there, and there was 3 racks there, and there was 20-some rifles in each rack, and I went down along there, and I took me a Bill and Ray told me take a bullet, and some of them guns you could drop, the brass and all would go down the barrel of the bullet, standing there, and I found this one, and even the bullet itself wouldn't go all the way down. A 30-06, it would fit up there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one I bought. And then when I was working for, I was driving a log truck for him up off the Lewis River there. I can't remember his name. And his shop was in Kalama there, and his mechanic was a amateur gunsmith. I mean, he had a gunsmith play. He did work on people's guns and stuff, but he worked outside, and that was just a part-time job. And he, I showed him the gun, and he said, "Well, we'll get you a stock right now." So he ordered and got the stock. And the military rifles don't have no cheek piece in the stock. You got a cheek piece. And he mounted the gun, and he showed me how to thin it down, to fit me and everything. And I did, and worked it up. And
Is that still the same 30-06 you're using now?
yeah, that's it. I know where that's at. But it's I got the bolt out of it, and it's hid, so they couldn't
Yeah.